There is an ancient story from the Taoist master Chuang Tzu about a tree so twisted, so gnarled, so utterly useless, that it lived for 1,000 years while every beautiful tree around it was cut down and turned to ash. And once you understand what this tree represents, you will never look at your own perceived flaws, your own strange quirks, your own seeming uselessness the same way again. Your imperfection is your protection. And the deeper you understand this paradox, the clearer your path becomes. You will recognize those who have learned this wisdom. They move through a world obsessed with utility and remain untouched by its demands. They do not rush to prove their value. They do not scramble to demonstrate worth. They exist without apology, knowing that what makes them useless to the world's agenda is precisely what keeps them whole. Others are beginning to sense this truth. They feel the exhaustion of constant productivity. They glimpse moments of peace when they do nothing. But they still hear the voice demanding justification, still feel the guilt of unproductive hours, still carry the belief that their worth must be earned and re-earned every single day. And then there are those who cannot stop. They optimize every moment, monetize every skill, transform every passion into productivity. Not because they are foolish, but because no one ever taught them that the tree which serves no purpose is the only tree that dies of old age. They believe that usefulness is survival. They believe that purpose is identity. They have not yet learned what the useless tree knows. The story of the tree. Chuang Tzu writes of a carpenter named Shi who was traveling with his apprentice through the countryside. They came upon a village where an ancient oak tree stood in the town square. This tree was massive, so large that hundreds of oxen could shelter beneath its branches. Its trunk was so wide that it would take 10 men holding hands to encircle it. The apprentice stopped in awe. "Master," he said, "I have never seen such magnificent timber. We could build 100 ships, 1,000 homes. Why don't we cut it down?" The carpenter Shi barely glanced at it. "That tree is useless," he said, and continued walking. "Its wood is too twisted to make anything. Its branches grow in all the wrong directions. Its grain is chaotic. No carpenter would waste time on such wood. That is why it stands here, untouched, while every straight tree in the forest has long been turned to boards and beams." That night, the carpenter had a dream. In the dream, the ancient oak tree spoke to him. "You call me useless," the tree said, "but tell me, what happened to all the useful trees? The straight pines became shipmasts and sank in storms. The perfect oaks became palace beams and burned in fires. The beautiful cherries became furniture and were eaten by worms. They were cut down in their youth, murdered by their own perfection. Their usefulness was their death sentence." The tree continued. "I, on the other hand, cultivated uselessness. I grew crooked. I twisted. I made my wood worthless to human ambition. And because I am useless to you, I have stood here for 800 years. I have given shade to 10,000 travelers. I have been home to countless birds. I have watched empires rise and fall. Tell me, carpenter, who is truly useless? The tree that serves the human agenda and dies young, or the tree that serves life itself and lives forever?" The carpenter woke with tears in his eyes. He finally understood. The modern sickness of utility. Here is what the tree teaches us about the world you live in today. You exist in a culture that has turned existence itself into a résumé. From the moment you wake, you are asked, "What did you accomplish today? What value did you create? How were you productive?" Even your rest must be justified as recharge time, so you can be more productive tomorrow. Even your hobbies must become side hustles. Even your joy must serve some future purpose. This is the sickness of modern life. The belief that your worth equals your usefulness to someone else's agenda. Watch how this plays out. You meet someone at a gathering. The first question they ask is not, "Who are you?" The question is, "What do you do?" Because in this world, what you do is who you are. Your job title is your identity. Your productivity is your value. Your utility is your right to exist. And if you cannot answer with something impressive, if you cannot package yourself as useful, you feel shame. You feel like the crooked tree watching straight trees get chosen. You feel worthless. But the Taoist masters understood something that modern society has forgotten. They understood that usefulness to the system is slavery. They understood that the moment you become useful to someone else's purpose, you lose the freedom to serve your own nature. This is not what it appears. This is not about being lazy or avoiding responsibility. This is about understanding the distinction between living according to your nature and living according to others' expectations. Lao Tzu writes in the Tao Te Ching, "The Tao does nothing, yet nothing is left undone." This is the principle of Wu Wei, effortless action. Not forcing yourself into shapes that do not fit you, not twisting your nature to meet others' demands. Simply being what you are, and in that being, accomplishing everything that truly matters. The tree did not fail to become a beam. The tree succeeded at being a tree. This is the freedom that most people never taste. The 3 levels of understanding. The Buddha taught that there are different levels of understanding the same truth. Let me show you the 3 levels of understanding the useless tree. The first level is those who never question utility. These are the people who wake each day and immediately ask, "What must I accomplish?" They fill every hour. They measure their days by check marks on lists. They feel virtuous when exhausted and guilty when resting. They are the straight trees, perfect and useful, wondering why they feel so empty despite doing everything right. These people are not wrong. They are living according to the only teaching they received. They were raised by a world that said, "Your value must be earned. Your existence must be justified. Your worth must be proven." And so they prove and prove and prove until they collapse. They are cut down by their own perfection, burned out by their own usefulness, just like the straight trees in the forest. There is no judgment here, only recognition that this is suffering, even when it looks like success. The second level is those who are beginning to wake up. These people feel the exhaustion in their bones. They sense that something is wrong with the constant grinding. They take a vacation and feel guilty. They spend Sunday doing nothing and feel anxious. They say, "I should be more present," while already planning tomorrow's productivity. These people are the twisted tree still trying to be straight. They see glimpses of another way but haven't yet surrendered to their own uselessness. They are standing at the edge of freedom but still holding the chains, not yet trusting that it is safe to be nobody, to serve no agenda, to simply exist without justification. This is the most uncomfortable place to be. 1 foot in the old world, 1 foot in the truth. The old voices screaming that rest is laziness, that uselessness is worthless, that you must do more, be more, accomplish more. And the quiet new voice whispering, "What if you don't have to?" The third level is those who have become the useless tree. These people have stopped trying to fit into the world's categories. They have stopped justifying their existence. They have stopped measuring their worth by productivity. They exist in a state of piyu, the uncarved block, simply being what they are without apology. When you ask these people, "What do you do?" they might smile and say, "I breathe, I watch the sky, I exist." And in that existence, they are more alive than anyone grinding through checklists. They have discovered the secret. The moment you stop being useful to the system, you become useful to yourself. The moment you stop serving others' agendas, you start serving life itself. This person appears lazy to the ambitious. They appear unproductive to the grinders. They appear lost to those still chasing goals. But watch them closely. They carry a peace that no achievement can bring. They move with a grace that no success can purchase. They have found the freedom that exists only in uselessness. The practice of uselessness. So how does the wise person practice this? How do you become the useless tree in a world that demands constant utility? First, recognize the voice. Every time you think, I should be doing something productive right now. Pause. That voice is not you. It is the carpenter looking at trees and seeing only lumber. Do not obey that voice. Second, practice deliberate uselessness. Set aside time each day where you do something completely without purpose. Sit and watch clouds. Take a walk with no destination. The mind will scream, "This is a waste." Let it scream. You are practicing freedom. Third, stop justifying rest. When someone asks what you did today, resist listing accomplishments. Try saying, "I existed." Feel the discomfort. That discomfort is the chains falling off. Fourth, identify your twisted branches. What parts of you are useless by society's standards? Your weird interests that don't monetize? Your slow pace? Your deep thinking that doesn't produce quick results? Stop trying to straighten these branches. These are your protection. Fifth, practice saying no without explanation. Can you do this? No. Not no because. Just no. The tree does not explain why its wood is crooked. Sixth, trust the long game. The straight trees died young. The crooked tree lived 1,000 years. Your refusal to be immediately useful might look like failure now, but watch what happens over decades. While others burn out, you will still be standing. The loneliness of the crooked tree. And here is what the ancient masters knew but rarely spoke aloud. When you become a useless tree, you will stand alone in the town square. All around you, the straight trees will be cut down and celebrated. Look how useful. Look how productive. And you will watch them be turned into beams and burned within years. People will look at you with pity. Such potential wasted. Such a shame they never made something of themselves. Let them pity you. Their pity cannot touch the truth. You will lose friends who only valued you for what you could do for them. You will disappoint your family who wanted conventional success. You will confuse people who cannot understand why you are not chasing more. This is not loneliness. This is the natural consequence of living according to your own nature. The mountain does not justify its stillness, and the crooked tree does not defend its twisted branches. Conclusion. The freedom of uselessness. Here is the truth that brings peace. The world will always need useful things, and useful things are always used up, but you do not have to be one of them. You can be the crooked tree. You can cultivate uselessness. You can twist your branches in directions that serve no one's agenda but your own growth. And in that uselessness, you find the freedom to serve life itself. This is Taoist wisdom in essence, not fighting to prove your worth, not forcing yourself into usefulness, not straightening your branches to fit others' needs. Here is what the practice looks like. First, each morning, before checking your phone, ask, "What would I do today if nothing had to be accomplished?" Then do one small thing from that answer. Second, when you feel pressure to be productive, pause and say, "I am the crooked tree. My uselessness is my protection." Third, celebrate your twisted branches. What makes you useless by the world's standards? These are not flaws. These are your salvation. Fourth, practice pure, purposeless nothing, not resting for productivity, not recharge to perform better, just exist. Fifth, when people ask what you do, experiment with answers that have nothing to do with productivity. I exist. I observe life. Feel the confusion. Smile at it. Sixth, stop competing in games of utility. The crooked tree doesn't try to out-straighten the pine. It simply grows according to its nature. Like the ancient oak standing in the village square, untouched while empires rise and fall. Like the twisted tree giving shade to travelers. Like the useless wood that houses 10,000 birds. Wu Wei, without forcing, without proving, simply existing according to your own crooked nature. This is the way. Your worth is not measured by what you accomplish. Your existence needs no justification. Be the crooked tree. Live 1,000 years while the straight trees are cut down and burned. Let them call you useless. That is the highest compliment a free being can receive. If this teaching resonates with you, leave a comment sharing your twisted branches. What part of you refuses to be straight? Your crooked nature is not a flaw. It is your freedom. This is the inner way. Walk it without straightening.